You stand atop Mount Shiroyama. The wind cuts against your skin. Below you, stretching as far as the eye can see, 30,000 modern rifles of the Imperial Japanese Army form a perfect siege. Behind you, the last samurai defenders of Japan check their swords. You have no modern artillery. You don't have enough rifles. You have only the mountain, the Bushido Code, an absolute certainty that this will be the last battle of the samurai age. It is September 24th, 1877. The rising sun illuminates not just a battlefield, but the end of 700 years of history. And you stand right at its center. But chance did not bring you here. Extinction did. The Meiji government decided that for Japan to grow, samurai had to disappear. They stripped away their privileges, their lands, and even the right to carry swords in public. It was not merely a political change, it was cultural erasure. And now, the final stand comes down to this: a few hundred warriors versus the future itself. Look at the numbers. 30,000 imperial soldiers, trained in Western tactics, armed with repeating rifles and heavy artillery. They have endless ammunition, time, and orders to leave no survivors. And you? You have 300 men, swords, spears, and a few old rifles. No reinforcements, no escape route. Any military analyst would say the battle is over before it begins. But they are analyzing numbers. You are defending a way of life that is vanishing before your eyes. You are honoring ancestors who shed blood on these same lands for generations. You are proving that courage does not die when rifles replace swords. And perhaps, just perhaps, you are showing the world that not everything old deserves to be forgotten simply because something new has arrived. This is the kind of battle that defines not just who wins or loses, but who you become in your final moments. And for the defenders of Shiroyama, that answer was clear. Samurai to the end. The disparity is no accident. It is the message. The government wants to prove that feudal Japan is dead. That the future belongs to machines, not courage. Crushing you on Mount Shiroyama is not just a military maneuver. It is a symbolic declaration. So why fight? Why not just surrender and live? Because Bushido doesn't allow for that. Victory isn't about surviving the day. It's about how you face it. And here's the brutal truth. You will lose. There's no realistic scenario where a few hundred samurai beat 30,000 modern soldiers with heavy artillery. But history doesn't only remember the winners. It remembers those who fought with such determination, such conviction, that even in defeat, they left an indelible mark. And that's exactly what you're about to do. Now, look around Mount Shiroyama. This mountain is not just your last refuge, it is your advantage. Perhaps the only real advantage you have in this desperate moment. Shiroyama rises sharply from the surrounding terrain, offering elevation that makes direct attacks difficult. The slopes are steep, covered in dense vegetation that can conceal defensive positions. There are natural rock formations that serve as barricades. Rivers and narrow gorges channel any attacking force into predictable routes, where even a small number of defenders can inflict disproportionate damage. Over the past days, you and your men have fortified every strategic position. Barricades are set at choke points, traps are laid on accessible trails. Firing positions are dug where you have maximum visibility and minimum exposure. You've transformed Mount Shiroyama into an improvised fortress, turning every meter of terrain into a weapon. And here's what the Imperial Army didn't anticipate. You know this mountain. Every trail, every rock, every tree. You know where the ground gives you the advantage and where an attack would be suicide. You know how to stretch your limited numbers. And more importantly, you know that getting 30,000 soldiers up this mountain under fire is going to cost them a lot of blood. Of course, the Imperial Army knows this too. That's why they're not waiting. They're positioning artillery. They're planning coordinated bombardments to destroy your fortifications before sending soldiers up. They're preparing a siege that'll bleed you dry supplies, ammunition, water. They have unlimited time. You don't. The question has changed. It's no longer, can we win? But, how much are they going to bleed before it's over? This wasn't a fight over territory. It was a fight over identity. You check your sword and feel the weight of centuries. September 24th, 1877 is the end. But history won't remember that you lost. It'll remember how you fought. But the Imperial Army made a fatal mistake. They looked at the map and saw terrain. You saw a weapon. They underestimated Shiroyama. While they relied on technology, you weaponized geography. You're at the top. Every shot they fire loses power fighting gravity. Every move you make gains momentum going downhill. Physics is on your side. The slopes are too steep for a quick charge. The Imperial Army can't move uphill in formation. They have to climb fully exposed while you stay covered behind natural rock. Every meter they gain costs lives, and you're going to make sure it costs them plenty. Rocks become walls. Dense trees blind the snipers. You're not just hiding, you're hunting. For the soldiers down there, this is psychological warfare. They can't see you. They fire at shadows, burning through ammo, while every samurai shot counts. This isn't line warfare, it's execution. Samurai leadership uses surgical precision. Small groups at key positions, not holding ground, maximizing kills while staying alive. This isn't traditional warfare where armies clash head-on. This is defensive guerrilla tactics, using the mountain to turn 300 into thousands. And it works. Imperial casualties spike. Artillery pounds empty rocks while samurai move like ghosts' quick strikes. Massacre platoons vanish. By the time the enemy reacts, you're already gone. They had maps, you had terrain. They had intelligence, you had instinct. For a moment, the impossible feels possible. 300 holding 30,000. Tactics beating technology. But reality hits. The Empire has what you don't. Unlimited time and ammo. Shiroyama's a fortress. Fortresses are also traps. Imperial Command realizes they don't need to take the mountain, they just need to level it. They stop the direct attacks. Now comes the bombardment. Hour after hour. Day after day. Not to defeat you, to erase you. You feel the shift. No more direct combat. Just constant explosions shaking the mountain. No time for counterattacks. Just hiding while artillery tears everything apart. The terrain's still protecting you, but it's being destroyed around you. Trees that gave cover are splintered. Rocks that blocked advances are pulverized. The mountain itself, your greatest weapon, is being dismantled piece by piece. That's industrial warfare. If you can't beat the tactics, destroy the terrain. Early morning, September 24th. The bombardment peaks. It's not anger, it's industrial precision. Your shield is crumbling. Your natural defenses fragment. Stone walls pulverize. Trees rip from the ground. Your high ground, your advantage, becomes a death trap under concentrated fire. They attack. Not because there's hope. Because the code demands it. Sitting still, hiding under rocks, that's not an option. They charge straight into the Imperial lines. 30,000 rifles, artillery that turned their fortress into rubble. They're cut down exactly like the numbers say they will be. Shiroyama turns from fortress to slaughterhouse. By midday, it's over. No more tactics. Just one choice left. How do you die? For the samurai, the answer's clear. No defenses, no hope, no fear. The last survivors stand. They don't wait for the end, they charge into it. Final charge. Swords against machine guns. Flesh against steel. It ends fast. The samurai are destroyed. The age of the samurai dies there, drenched in blood. But they get what they wanted. They don't vanish quietly. They scream so loud that 150 years later, we still hear them. Shiroyama isn't about winning. It's about what you do when you know you're going to lose. Do you hide, or do you make them bleed for every inch? Want to hear about other impossible last stands? Subscribe. History's full of men who chose to die standing. See you next time.